Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. For today's video we are jumping into the brand new Jaclyn Hill and Morphe Volume 2 palette. I feel like with the white background and the lights you really can't see, but this palette is stunning. So I will be going into a full tutorial on the fairly neutral eye look we did today. I feel like I'm seeing so many like rainbow, vibrant, like brights out of this palette that obviously I had to do something a little more neutral. So if you want to see how we got this look today, talk about all the details in the palette, whether or not it's worth your money or what we think about it, make sure to keep on watching and please don't forget to subscribe because I do upload 3+ times a week and that's going to be the best way to stay up to date on all the fun stuff I'm posting. So if you want to see how we got this eye look today, what I think of the palette, and honestly just what's going on with this new launch, stay tuned. Alright, so before I ruin the palette, because I haven't even like swatched it yet, the Jaclyn Hill Volume 2 and Morphe eyeshadow palette. I think that from a color story perspective, I think it's stunning. When I first looked at it, obviously, it does appear to be a very bright palette. However, when she went in her reveal video and went line by line and swatched, in reality, there are pops of color in it, but there are so many neutrals that I think that this will work for literally anybody. So I am going to be going a little more neutral today just because when I looked back at my last few videos, pink, purple, green, like I've done a lot of brights. So I will be using some of like the coral salmon-y tones, but for the most part I am going to be sticking to a little bit more on the neutral side today. So I'm going to grab a fluffy brush and I'm going to start right here with the shade Perfectionist, which looks super mauve-y, which I love when a transition shade has a little pink undertone, because so often these shades that brands intend to be transition are either super warm or super neutral, which for someone like me whose undertone is very cool, I've got a lot of pink in my skin, having a more mauve-y pinky version, like look at that. In my crease, that's like the perfect barely there color. Like it just looks like I have definition to the crease, whereas with a lot of other warmer tone transition shades on my eyes, it looks like I've got either a little bit of redness around the eye, or the other side of it is it looks like I have like a lot of color, whereas this could easily, like if I had nothing on, just be like the definition to my eyes. Now I am going in a very little bit at a time to build it up because I don't want it to be way too bold of a transition right off the get-go. I want it to be a little softer. Then switching into the shade Grateful down here right in the center, I'm gonna go right on the tip of my brush and I'm gonna put that directly in the socket of the eye. I'm not going into the whole transition area. This is just in the socket. I'm really enjoying this. A touch of that first shade Perfectionist just to blend out the edges. Then I'm going to take G Money down here, which is like a camel brown. Normally these camel tones are super stunning. I picked up quite a bit of that, and I'm just going to add a little definition to the outer portion of the lid. Where's my mirror? And I'm actually going to feather that shade towards the center of the lid. See how that just like instantly added that definition? I love this type of brown shade. Alright, since it is looking a little warm, I'm going to go back into a little more of Perfectionist and just blend a little bit more of that cool tone over everything, because that's just going to pull everything a little bit more. You see how that's a little more neutral now? A little less orange, a little bit more neutral. Now there really isn't like a dark brown, so instead I'm going to take a tiny bit of Crazy, which almost, it's more of a berry tone, but I think adding just a tiny bit of that over the camel tones Yeah, that'll appear almost brown on the lid. All right, before I figure out exactly what shade I want to take on the lid, I'm going to throw a brown liner in my waterline, and I'll be right back. All right, so brown liner is on. I'm going to grab the shade Ride or Diamonds right here, which is the like pressed glitter type shade formula, super foiled and super wet looking. And I'm going to take that on the lid. That is absolutely stunning. I am just going to, before it kind of sets in, just blend the crease just so that shimmer really is just on the lid. I recently cut my nails off, and having the claws gone and the fact that I can use my fingers for eyeshadow again is so refreshing. Because sometimes like nothing is better than just taking a finger and just getting in there. That's really pretty. I'm going to take a little bit more of G Money mixed with Grateful, those two neutral shades, and just kind of feather around that shimmer. For the lower lash line, I'm basically just going to like mix all of those shades together and just kind of frame the eye. And then taking Perfectionist on that same fluffy brush, and we're just going to buff out everything for a little bit more smokiness on the lower lash. Just for my own curiosity, I did pick up a little bit more of that shimmer, and I am going to spray that and see if I can get that even more metallic and foiled than it is. So the short answer is absolutely yes. Adding a little bit of that with a brush and wetting it a little bit will definitely enhance the shimmer quite a bit. It's looking really fiery, and I like it. All right, I'm just gonna close my eyes and add a little bit of setting spray just to kind of melt the powders in. All right, taking a tiny little brush, I'm gonna take a tiny amount of I'm In It right here, which is a white shade with a little bit of like a purple reflect, and I'm just gonna highlight the inner corner. That could have gone really overboard, but I like how it's looking. All right, taking a tiny bit more of Crazy, the berry tone, like next to nothing. I'm just gonna add a tiny bit more to the outermost area of the eye. All right, I'm gonna go throw on mascara, a lash, and a lip, and I'll be right back to talk all of the details on the palette. All right, so the palette is available at, it's gonna be at Ulta, Morphe stores, Morphe.com, and it does retail for $39, which for a 35 shade palette, I think is actually a really good value. I wore the original Jaclyn Hill palette, I keep it right over there. I wore that on my wedding day, which is actually 2 years ago tomorrow when I'm filming this, the 23rd of February. So I obviously have a huge love for the formula. I do think that these performed absolutely beautifully. Like, I love how this looks all together. I think it's beautiful. It's just the right amount of neutral. There's a little bit of a pop. You can totally go in some more vibrant directions with this palette, but you don't have to, which is I think what I like most, is that with a lot of bright palettes, you don't get a lot of options. So it's either go super bright or use two palettes at once. With this, like, clearly I can go neutral. I could add a pop of color. We can go super bright and do like yellow to pink to coral to purple, like sunset moments. There's a red in here. So you can really get a lot of warmth out of here, but it's pretty. So all in all, I think this is an amazing palette. I am a huge fan of it and will definitely be using this a lot more. I hate that I'm doing so many back-to-back-to-back palette reviews, because I just did the Bretman Rock palette, which I will link up here. I will be doing the Jeffree Star Bloodlust palette in a couple days, because that'll be here literally tomorrow. So it's the next thing I'm filming with. So yeah, very exciting. I am very happy. Palette season is upon us, and I have yet to be disappointed. So thank you guys again, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.